therapist or counselor or journaling, you know, and, you know, because unfortunately in a lot of people's lives, there are experiences and circumstances that they've been through that nobody should ever have to go through.
Right.
And, you know, personally and, you know, also, you know, people that I know, it can ruin you. It can wreck you. And it's things like that that people will suppress. And then if they don't deal with it in a healthy way and address it, it can, you know, take you down. And that's, you know, it can, and that's a lot of underlying reasons why people choose to turn to drugs and alcohol quite a bit. You know, something very traumatic in their life has happened, and it's shameful, and it's something that they take blame for, which is not right. Personally, like domestic violence, and emotional abuse. I've been through both of those, a lot of that in my life, and it's something that, you know, I don't like to wake up every day thinking of myself as, you know, as a victim of that. Although I do fit that description of the past, you want to view yourself as a survivor of that. And that's an important thing to remember, and to work on the healing process, you know. So, you know, that's where, like I said, therapy and things like that will come into play and are helpful. But having the strength to talk about it is, I think, the number one thing, you know, because it is painful, and it's stuff that you don't want to have to relive. And there's a certain discretion that you have to take about how much you want to actually delve into those memories, because it's a painful thing to try to remember, to have to deal with and sort through with. But at the end of the day, the most important thing to remember is that nobody deserves to have gone through. And I'm just using that as an example. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's not the only thing bad that has happened to people that is totally just, you know, not their fault and unacceptable on every level possible. You know, incest, molestation, you know, rape, you know, random acts of violence. I don't know. I mean, you name it. Things that, you know, the world, it can be an awful place. And I think the people that, if you're hurt by someone that is close to you, is probably one of the most painful things that can happen.
And do you think you ever thought, why is this happening to me?
Yeah.
Why me?
Of course you think that. Yeah, of course you think that. And if it happens long enough, or in the different circumstances, you know, that your brain can twist and turn and mess you up in so many ways, where you're finding ways to make it make sense, which is totally effed up, because it's not, none of that ever, it doesn't make sense, but you try to make sense of it because you want to feel like, you know, in some way that this is, you know, it wouldn't happen to you otherwise. And it's sad to feel that way, because you're standing back and you're like, I'm a smart person, and, you know, I'm not a bad person, and, you know, but then if I am those things, if I am smart and if I'm not a bad person, then why is this continuing to happen to me? And so then you're like, well, then I must not be a good person, and I must not be a smart person. And somehow, in some weird way, you start believing those things, because that's just the nature of the beast. And so first thing is to remove yourself from situations like that, which takes courage, and people that are on your side. And it takes the strength to talk about it, and it takes the strength to actually let it out and let people know about it, because you're not there to save other people from hurting you. It's a common thing. I don't understand it totally. I never will. Why we do that, why we, because it's complicated and you don't want the world to know that it's happened, not to you. I mean, you hear other people, yeah, I guess, but not to you. And so in this sort of pseudo nightmarish thing that, at one point was, totally unbelievable that it's actually going on in your life, is, you admit, is a reality to another person, then that's actually where the healing starts. But that takes a lot.
And those are, you're describing really unhealthy relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And for women that are in those, and I could say, yeah, that those men are, pieces of trash and this and that. But if you take it back to how they were raised, and first of all, this world we live in, don't let anything surprise you. If you're letting things surprise you, then you're very gullible. Don't put up with that kind of stuff. And that's easier said than done in some situations. But, those people can, in my opinion, be changed. I'm not going to use the word fixed, but I think they can change their mentality and how they view things. When I was 3, maybe, I remember I was under the kitchen table and my mom had come home and my dad started hitting her or smacking her or something. There was some kind of altercation going on. And I remember I was so afraid and I was crying. And that moment was a very defining moment for me. That's when their divorce it was kind of like, okay, they're getting one. But for me, it made me never want to hit a woman. And I never have. It was very, very traumatic. And seeing my mom, hurt like that. And that's one of the earliest memories that I have, which is kind of sad, and my dad, it was a rage thing, I think, and it wasn't something that he planned on doing that day. But how he was raised was by an alcoholic, mother and father. And my grandpa Winfield, I guess, would hold my grandma Winfield's head under the water, like in the bathtub, and yell at her and I'm going to kill you, bitch, and just really crazy stuff. And I didn't really get to know them. They both died when I was young, really young. And so it's if you look at somebody who when a kid, if my nephew smacked my sister would be like, hey, you don't hit women, and then my brother-in-law would come in with the same, you don't hit women, don't do that. That's not what we do. And you raise them that way and they start seeing that. Okay. Yeah. We don't hit women. Don't hit women. But if you see your dad who might have a substance use disorder and he comes home, or my mom didn't make dinner right, or, the classic, what's in the movies, and boom, he sees, oh, well, mom was acting right, so that's what she gets, and that's not right for sure. But, and I'm not trying to go to bat for people who batter women, but sometimes it could be as simple as that, how they're raised and the way they need to change their thinking. And I don't know, we're not therapists, we're not doctors, but I'm just from what I've seen in people, there are some that can be changed and there are some that don't want to be changed. And they're just mad about getting caught. In Arkansas, I saw a guy just in the middle of the street walk up and just punch a woman right in the face. And I was like, are you kidding me? Where am I living at? And then I called the police, and then people were calling my show because I told the story on the air. And I was like, this was the most insane thing. It was on a Sunday. Football's about to start, and I'm driving home. This guy just walks over, and the woman's yelling, oh, I'm so sorry. He just punches her right in the face in the middle of the day. What in the F? But the people called, and they're like, oh, Corey, you messed up. I was like, yeah, I should. What do you mean? I messed up. What do you mean? Well, now when he gets out, he's going to beat her worse, And wait a minute. Huh? Wait, I didn't mess up. You're telling me I messed up because I called the police. Yeah. She's going to get a huge beating when he gets out. He's not going to change. And I'm just like, what is wrong with these people? But I don't know.
That's part of the reason why lots of women don't turn in the people that hurt them. It's because of that fear of it getting worse. You know?
And I felt bad the other day. And I do things all the time, and I don't, because I'm just not used to it, and I know it could be insensitive sometimes, but like the other day I left and I took both sets of keys, and I did it on accident, and then I got home and I'm like, oh, I get both keys, and I was like, yeah, you weren't going anywhere, and I was kind of joking. And I thought later, I'm like, oh man, I hope that didn't like trigger something from the past or make you feel some kind of way, or if you were looking to go somewhere and you were like, where are them keys, and I don't know, but dudes do that too, I was just joking, and I got to be careful how I joke, because it's for some people it's probably not funny. You kind of get me, and I'm not being intentional about it, but it's still something that I have to work on. And
I was never in a relationship where I had two cars. Sorry, just make that a little bit more lighthearted.
Yeah, there you go. But so as far as not being stuck in the past, just don't let yourself get stuck in the past. It's that easy. Have a good day. And quit drinking. Just stop. That's how it works. No, just try to live in the now and work through those moments, and realize that you don't have to do it all at once. There are moments from your past that you're going to have to deal with. I have plenty, but I don't have to deal with them right now.
Yeah, that's why I was talking about the compartmentalizing.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, you have to be careful, because that can be unhealthy as well. But also you don't want to overload yourself with, getting better is a process, and it doesn't happen overnight, and it's an everyday thing. But if just like for me, making sure that, I'm in a spot today where I can at least, be safe and grow and be healthy and as much as possible, then, it's a good day. So.
Yeah, it's a really good day. Give a shout out to, it's Thursday. We got to do shout outs.
Right.
But yeah, man, you got like the whole
I know.
Central Michigan listening now, huh?
Yeah. Oh, no, for real. It's crazy. I mean, I had an opportunity to reconnect with one of my old high school friends. Kristen Beidel-Shees, I mentioned, I think, on the other podcast. We're supposed to meet up and have coffee like next week or something. But that Facebook thing, man, it's it's something else, I tell you. Yeah. Like, before I knew it, I was like friending or getting asked for friend requests from all sorts of people that I went to high school with. And I actually was kind of proud of myself, because like I really remember a ton of people from high school. I don't know, even just remember them. I remember like their sisters and brothers' names too and stuff, and their mothers and fathers. Yeah. So, I mean, it was a small high school. It was a small school where I grew up, but I didn't have, not that I know of, but I didn't have any enemies, really.
Oh, you had haters. They weren't.
No, I don't think. Maybe I did. That I don't know about. But I know I didn't hate on anybody. Like, there's nobody that I could pinpoint that I was like, that person is a bad person, or I really didn't have beef with anybody. Like, when I was growing up, there's people I was closer to because our interests were the same. I was kind of more like in sports and things like that than music and so on. But I still like totally, we had complete respect for people that were in, the like in choir and stuff like that, and band and orchestra. I mean, we had like, geniuses in our school.
So giving shout outs to the whole school.
Yeah, no, for real. Shout out Celine High, baby. Go Hornets. Yeah. No, it's really neat though. And you know what? I was thinking about it is because I don't know if we've had reunions since then. I believe we probably did. I never attended any of them.